JSpire Live.
Don't you wanna talk
And now,
about it? Let's talk
Miss
about
JSpire.
it. Don't you wanna talk about it? Let's talk about it. Don't you wanna talk about it? Let's talk about it.
Well, hello everyone, and happy Friday. Welcome to JSpirations Live, Fill Up Friday Live with your girl, your host, Mrs. JSpire. I am so excited to be on with you all tonight. If you're watching live, then welcome. Happy Fill Up Friday. If you are catching the replay, then welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to go back. Please be sure to comment anyway, as I will go back and watch the live and respond to the comments as well. I missed you guys so much. I have not been on the last, I think, 3 Fridays. I have had some family obligations that I needed to take care of. But tonight, I'm excited to be back on. I'm excited to be with you all. Excited to catch up for Fill Up Friday Live and to find out what you all have been filling up on, what you have been doing to practice some self-care and to practice wellness, what you have been sowing into yourself, into your family, into the community, just so many things. Just want to know what you all have been doing. So as you come in, please say hello. Let us know that you are here, whether you're watching on YouTube or whether you are watching on Facebook. We will also start to go live on Instagram starting next Friday. So I'm excited about that as well. All things new, right? There's always something new to do based on those seeds that you have sown, that people have sown into your life. So I'm excited to see JSpirations Live continue to grow and to be able to grow on another platform. So I wanted to give our Fill Up Friday faithful some time to come in. So while we're talking, if you are new to our page, let me share a little bit about JSpirations Live and about myself, Mrs. JSpire. So JSpirations Live was birthed in 2018. I've always wanted to do some motivational things and to do a podcast. And in 2018, I felt like there were so many things going on in the world, and it seemed like everything was just piling up on social media. There was so many negative things going on. And so I felt like God was calling me at that time to bring some positivity to social media, to bring some positivity to the airways. And so I started JSpirations Live as a way to connect with people, as a way to motivate, as a way to encourage, as a way to just give back and to use my voice in a positive way. And so back in August of 2023, we celebrated 5 years, and we were really excited about that. And like I said, we continue to grow. So I am your host, Mrs. JSpire, motivational speaker, community educator, advocate, all those things. And so I'm excited about the part that God has given me to play in this world, excited about the purpose that He has for my life. You also heard me mention Fill Up Friday Faithfuls. So faithfuls are those who usually come on every Friday night. They're faithful to doing that. They sow into the ministry, participating in events, helping to plan events, and just really being in place and encouraging each other. So I'm excited about that. So what is Fill Up Friday Live? Well, Fill Up Friday Live is a time where we come together after the week, right? The end of the work week. And we really just talk about what we filled up on this week. We talk about if we filled up or if we did not fill up, right? And if we didn't fill up, we talk about what did we need, what would have made our week better. What did we need to be sown into us? Were we running on half empty or was our glass half full? Kind of just like really what did that look like? So it's a time to come together to motivate each other, to encourage each other, and hopefully, when you leave Fill Up Friday Live, you left better than you came, right? If you came empty, we hope that you leave full. If you came full, then we hope that you're able to pour into someone else. And so if they came empty, then they are able to leave full. So again, I see some folks coming in. As you come in, go ahead and drop your hello, drop where you're watching from if this is your first time. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Every Friday on Fill Up Friday Live, we usually have a different topic, something that we chat about, right, based on what we posted this week. And we haven't been posting a lot this week. I've been busy and kind of been on travel and just trying to get back into the swing of things. But this week, actually today, I was in a training. Was in a training yesterday, and I started a new job back in, I don't know, I think August, September, I think it was August. But I started a new job, and with that job, comes a lot of training, and we were still doing a lot of training online. And so even though we were not physically together, I was able to meet people all across, the state of Virginia that does some of the same work that I do. Hey, good evening, Shonda. So if I'm not sure if you were on, but we're just talking, I'm sharing just a little background story. Tonight we're going to be talking about connections, and we're going to be talking about being yourself, regardless of where you are, right? Regardless of the environment, but always staying true to yourself and just thinking about how purposeful that is and how beneficial it is to make connections and to be who you are wherever you are. So a couple months ago, been doing some training for my new position and meeting people via Zoom to do different trainings, people from all across the state of Virginia. And if you guys know me, Shonda, I know you're watching, but the folks who will be catching the replay as well, I'm a very social person. I'm a very loving person. I love to talk. So regardless of whether we're in person or we're on the Zoom or Teams or whatever, I'm going to make it feel like I'm right there in the midst, right there with you. So I connected with a couple people via Zoom as we're training. We may talk back and forth in the inbox, or we may end up in a group somehow. And so we start talking. And so when I went to a training a few weeks ago in person, when this young lady walked in, I was like, hey, and I immediately knew who she was. And she was like, Joe Shalana, she called my name and we hugged each other and we were like so excited to actually meet each other in person, but we had only met on a Zoom training. And so then a couple months before that, I had been in the training and I could reconnected with someone that I had met in a previous virtual training. And we were so excited to see each other again on Zoom. So yesterday I walked into a training in person and I saw the person and I looked at them like, they kind of looked familiar. And then the person started talking and I said, I know that voice. And I went to her and I said, hey, did we meet in this training on Zoom? And she's like, oh my goodness, it's you. And I'm like, it's you. And again, we embraced each other and we were so excited to see each other. We got to spend 2 days in training together this week. So Mrs. JSpire, what are you talking about? What is the purpose of this? The purpose is that connections are good. Connections are purposeful, and being yourself, regardless of where you are, whether you're in person with someone, whether you're on a virtual meeting with someone, wherever you are, being yourself is beneficial. So being who I was online and then going into a face-to-face training with these two folks over the last couple months, It was amazing how we both were the same, how we embraced each other, how we, at the training before last, we sat together, we ate lunch together, we laughed together. There was this connection that we made initially, not even having to be in the room with each other. And so, what I'm saying is that be who God has called you to be wherever you are. And when you go into a space, when you go into a room, when you get on a phone call, when someone sees your picture, they're going to be excited to see you. They're going to be excited to see that when they saw you in place A and then they saw you in place B, you were the same. That is powerful, right? That is maturity. That is being intentional. That is walking in who God has called you to be, right? Not having to try to be anyone else, not having to try to fit in, not having to try to manipulate a person or manipulate a situation, but simply being and doing, right, what and who God has called you to do and to be. And I'm so excited about that. Hello, Lucy. Welcome. We've just been talking about the importance of connection, the importance and the benefits of being exactly who you are. So, Lucy, I shared the story that this week I met someone in training that I had met on Zoom a few months ago. And then when I was in training about a month ago, give or take, I met someone else that I had met in Zoom. And that when we saw each other in person, we immediately knew who each other were, right? By face, or the lady I met this week, it was like, oh, I know that voice. And we were able to connect in person. But had she not been, they, because it was two of them and, one in each different group were, right? But it was the voices, it was the connections, it was the genuine personalities that we were showing even on a Zoom that allowed us to immediately know each other and want to connect in person. When we saw each other, we embraced each other. So just, kind of repeating, but, being and doing who God has called you to be and what he has called you to be is so beneficial. People want to know that you are genuine, right? And so when we're meeting people out and about and then we see them again and our interactions and our embraces are the same, that is powerful. It has given us the opportunity to show God's love right here on earth because we are a reflection of him. And so I'm so thankful for who he has called me to be. I'm so thankful for what he has called me to be. And I'm so thankful that regardless of, what someone else calls me, or who someone else calls me, that I have enough faith in God, that I have the relationship with God to say, those things that matter. I'm going to walk in who and what he's called me to be, and I'm going to be intentional so that when I walk in a room, people see him first and they see me second. But because of that relationship that we have, I am able to easily just be me. And that's what I am encouraging you guys to do. Just walk in who God has called you to be. Just show up as you. Show up as your genuine self, right? Show up being intentional. Show up being purposeful. We don't know whose lives we're touching. In trainings, they're always asking you, you talk about your professional, what you do as a professional, but then they always ask, what do you do, as, I don't know, a hobby, or tell us something about yourself. And in my training this week, I always share that I host a podcast. I share that I do poetry because those are two things that I really love. And two people from that training this week, they followed my podcast. They never heard me on my podcast, but just because I was walking and doing and being what God has called me, there is a light, right? We've talked before where I said, don't try to walk in anyone else's shadow. Stand in the light and make your own. Right? It's so much easier to make your own. It's so much easy just to be yourself. It's hard trying to be someone else. This is a part where God has just made it easy, right? He's made you a certain way. He's given you a certain type of heart. He's given you a certain look, right? When you're walking with him, you walk into the room and people know that you're different, right? People can see the glow even when you don't see it. I was talking to someone earlier this week, and they said it was, a lady, and she always tells me, Joshalon, you're just so cute. And, I told her, I was like, you always say that. She said, no, you're so sweet, and you're just so cute. And I giggle at it. And I say, girl, these moles and like these freckles. And she always says, but that's what makes you, right? So sometimes I'm in the room and I look different, right? I act different. It feels different to be around me. And I'm not like, trying to boast or like, pep myself up. But what I'm saying, it's the love of Christ. It's the light of God, right? That allows people to see me in those ways, even sometimes when I don't see myself in that way, right? Even sometimes where I'm not feeling confident or I'm not feeling comfortable, God continues to show up and he pushes out of me. And so I don't have to worry about how people are seeing me because they see him first, right? And that's the benefits and the excitement and the love of having a relationship with him, that you can just show up, right? And when you show up, he's good evening, Auntie. When you show up, he's already gone before you. And so when you walk in that room, you're different, but it's light and it's love and it's joy and it's peace and it's patience that just flows out of you because of who lives inside of you. It can't be any different, right? So even when people want to shun you, even when people want to treat you different, right? Even when people don't want to like you, when they want to be disrespectful to you, there's no way that they can, because we're simply showing up. We're following behind the word of God, right? Like he's already shown up. And so all we have to do is show up, but we have to show up as our genuine selves and show up as who he has called us to be. So listen, y'all, the topic for tonight is connections, right? It's showing up as your genuine self, your true self, right? And being intentional. Showing up as your genuine self and making those connections, it has benefits, right? And so I want you to think about that tomorrow, today, next week, wherever you go, whoever you come in contact with. Don't waste your time trying to make yourself look a certain way or make yourself sound a certain way. Just show up as who he has made you to be. And I promise you, people will see you because they see him. Listen, y'all, connections, benefits, relationships, being intentional, right? All the things, all the doors will open for you, right? I know that I have the gift of gab. I love it. I know that I'm able to stand in front of people with confidence, even though I get nervous. I know all those things about myself. But when I show up as who God has called me to be, all those things, even though I'm nervous, it works out. Even though I may not be as comfortable, I get somewhere and it works out because he's already gone before me. And I only want to be me. I only want to be me. And I'm encouraging you to only be you. Dress how you dress. Do your hair how you do it. Put on whatever it is. Smile how you smile. Wear what you wear, right? Little earrings, big earrings, all those things don't matter because it's what God pushes out of you that matters. People will not always remember what you have on, right? And if they do, those not your folks, right? People may not always remember what you look like. Those may not be your folks, but people are going to remember the impact that you made on their lives. They're going to remember what you said, right? They're going to remember what you did for them. They're going to remember not only what you did for them, but how you did it. Did you do it with joy? Right? Did you do it with love? What came out of you as you were fixing the plate? What came out of you as you spoke to them when they sat down beside you? It's what came out of you. And so, hey, Joanne, hey, Don. And so I encourage you, this will, right, Shauna, they will remember how you made them feel, right? Like the last couple months, of like travel for work, sometimes I've been like, I don't want to go, but I have gone, and everywhere I have gone, God has gone before me. It's taken me out of my comfort level, in some way. And He has shown up. He has shown up to show me what I'm capable of, right? I already know what He's capable of, but He shows up and goes before me to show me what I'm capable of. allow god to allow God to show you, allow Him to be in your life, allow Him to lead you so that you can see what you are capable of, right? Like, just allow Him to do that. Give Him, he already has the authority, but He wants the invitation to say, yes, God, I invite you into my heart. I invite you into my life. Man, like, we just don't understand all that He has for us. We don't understand all that He wants us to have. But we have to just show up as just who we are, right? And, good, bad, ugly, whatever, indifference. Like, He just wants to be able to mend our hearts, right? And when we allow Him to come in and to mend it, I promise you, He's going to show up, and people are going to see you, but they're going to see you because they see Him. That light is just going to, it's gonna just shine so bright, right? And that's how I felt the last couple travels, right? Even though I didn't want to, but it's like it's all intentional and it's purposeful. So I'm not going to keep you guys on long. I don't even know why I'm so emotional. So, but it just kind of is what it is. God has just been so amazing, and we don't want to insult Him by trying to be anybody else but who He's made us. He's made us perfect in His sight. People aren't going to see us as perfect, and we're not perfect, but we're perfect in His sight because the way that He made us and everything that He made us is good, right? We have choices, and so sometimes we don't make the right choices, and sometimes we don't do the right things, but He made us good, right? And so we are perfect in His sight. And so I love you guys so much. If you missed the beginning of the live, go back and watch it so that you can get the bones of it, right? So you can understand what you can get the story behind what we're talking about. But I encourage you guys to show up, right, as who God has made you to be. LaShonda, Joanne, Don, Teen, Lucy, whoever else is watching tonight, show up as who God, love you too, Joanne. Show up as who God has made you to be. Don't try to do it. Don't try to be anybody else. It's not worth it. And it's not going to work out, right? It's temporarily, it may work out. It may look good temporarily, but we're not looking for temporary, right? We want it to be lasting, right? Our goal is to live, to be with Jesus, to live with Jesus forever, right? For eternity, right? Like, we that's the goal, right? That's what we want. We want to build a relationship with Him, and when He comes back, we want to go with Him, right? We want to have that relationship. So I love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your night. Practice some self-care. Do something to fill yourself up. If you're running on, empty, do something to fill yourself up. Um, do something to show into somebody else, right? Make sure that your light is shining, right? That the love of God is shining through you. So enjoy the rest of your night. Practice some self-care. Get some rest this weekend. Relax. Do what you need to do. If you see somebody without a smile, give them one of yours. I love you guys. And as always, be JSpire.